Hey, welcome. I'm doing a special live stream today. We're going to be doing something experiential. So before I even get into it, you want to make sure that you have a piece of paper as well as something to draw with. And so if you don't know me, my name is Brianna McWilliam, and I am an author, educator, Reiki practitioner, and I am also a licensed creative arts therapist, and I have been in the field for about 12 years now. And if you're watching this video, it's probably on my YouTube channel or in my private Facebook group. And if you're not in my private Facebook group, you need to get in there now because you can get notifications for more live streams like this, and also ask questions, which I will respond to. So for today, what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk about a question that I often get asked, and that is, how do I know my feelings are real? And how can I learn to trust my own instincts again? Oftentimes we feel as if it is our feelings and our instincts that got us into this mess in the first place, right? So there are, to my mind, the reason that you become disconnected from your feelings is because you're actually disconnected from your source energy. So that's the words that I use. You might say your true self, your essential self, your spirit, your soul, what have you. To my mind, it's a disconnect from your source energy. And that is this divine spark flame that you have inside of you that connects you to all that is. And so there are 4 types of spiritual guidance that I feel like you can tap into to help you regain a sense of trust in your own instincts, in your own feelings, and in yourself, so that you feel like you do know what your feelings are on a subject and you're not constantly questioning yourself. Okay. So there are 4 things. They are the body, your dreams, intuition, and sacred ritual. So for today, I'm going to focus in on the body, but I'm going to be talking about the other 3 items in subsequent videos. So make sure that you stay tuned to the feed for notifications on that. And so what I'd like to do is to, once again, you want to make sure you have a piece of paper and something to draw with. I'm going to give you a little bit of an intro into an experiential exercise that I would like us to do together tonight. Okay? All right. So first, let's just talk a little bit about the body. So the body offers spiritual guidance in that it houses what Abraham Hicks calls your emotional guidance system. And so in my practice, I tend to use the chakra system as a framework for understanding how this might look on any given individual based on their history or their personal journey. I believe that your emotions are really an expression of your energy. And if your energy becomes blocked or split off at any given point in time during your adulthood or even during your childhood, there will be a measure of psychic energy tied up in it. And I feel that that has some form of mass, real mass, that gets housed, lodged in your body. And I think of the body as the unconscious. We often talk about the unconscious as sort of this abstract place in our minds. I think it has real energy and real mass, and I think it lives in your body. And so knowing and applying the chakra system just gives me a sense of how and when that energy might have got split off or lodged in your unconscious. But you know what? I also think that it's really important not to get caught up dogmatically with these things in any kind of framework, because you don't need to know how electricity works to turn on the light, do you? Or to enjoy illumination. So that's really what today's exercise is about. We're just going to try turning on the light in one small facet of your life, and that is by tapping into the body using creativity and mindfulness. So basically, when you feel out of sync with the essence of who and what you are, with source energy, your body is going to let you know. Well, how is it going to let you know? It will feel tight and constricted. Your throat will want to close up. Your eyes burn, feeling like you want to cry. You want to go to sleep, right? People say, oh, I'm depressed. Well, you want to go to sleep because sleep is actually a respite from the persistent negative thoughts and beliefs that you have and that you're harboring and that are constantly in conflict with your source energy. So if you feel yourself starting to experience these things in your body, I'd recommend that you take a long, deep breath to just stop the record scratching in your mind, long enough to at least ask yourself, what are the thoughts and beliefs that I am operating under right now that my body is rejecting? What fear am I entertaining that my source energy is telling me is not true? Okay. Now, in a nutshell, how do you know what you feel? Well, you notice how your body organizes and responds to it. So again, this is, of course, a reciprocal relationship. You can have a painful feeling like a headache or the flu, for example, and of course, that's going to color your thoughts for the rest of the day. You're much more likely to be cranky if you don't feel good, right? But this is primarily because your emotional guidance system is telling you that your thoughts are just not in alignment with the love light that you are, with the compassionate opinion that your source energy has of everything that you are and everything that you have been and everything that you will be. So it's worth mentioning that you may have an unconscious or, let's say, a preconscious notion, and it's compelling you in ways that you're not aware of, right? It's tying up your energy or your affect or your emotional states, like fear or anxiety or anger, and you're just not consciously aware of that being the thing that's motivating you. So maybe you get sick or you have a panic attack out of nowhere, but it may be that you are creating so much internal resistance against what source, wherever source or the universe is trying to direct you, that your body has no choice but to scream at you to slow down and listen and pay attention. So fear tends to motivate. Desire tends to inspire. And so I'm going to give you a more concrete example of what I mean. So if you want to remain in a relationship because you're afraid of ending up alone, that it's going to cause a significant amount of contrast and resistance within you. Okay, that is going to cause a lot of conflict because it's not that you truly desire this person per se. What you desire is to be in a supportive and loving relationship that feels intimate, passionate, honest, and then in alignment with your values and your goals. But for whatever reason, you've decided that that must not be in the cards for you. And so this person is close enough, so you better cling as tightly as you can, right? And then your emotions get all tied up in it. And so that's really operating under a limiting belief. So if the relationship exists in a way that requires you to compromise so much of yourself, and yet you remain in it because you feel you must, out of a fear of ending up alone, or because you have some duty to a commitment you made to someone else, and you are prioritizing that commitment above your own soul's purpose and wisdom, because you think that makes you a good person or something, you're going to experience a lot of bodily ache, physically and emotionally. Okay? And when I said because you think it makes you a good person, that's coming from a place of tied up in judgment. Good and bad, right? You're tied up in judgment of yourself and of others. Okay, so you got to let that go. People holding on to commitments, I always honor my commitments. I'm sorry, commitments, they can be broken, especially if they are not in alignment with where your source energy needs you to be or where the universe needs you to be. Okay, the commitment you should be making is to honor that within you. Okay. And this is why it's so essential to be mindful of loving yourself and or maintaining self-care, right? Because you want to be mindful that you're not getting wrapped up in your vanity, or because you're so wrapped up in someone else's needs that you lose touch with your own, or you're so preoccupied with someone else's behaviors and wrongdoings that you've given away all your power, claiming that your life and your happiness is entirely the result of someone else's whims and decisions, right? Not giving you what you want, or not living up to their potential. What does that have to do with you, right? And when you do that, you in essence cut yourself off from your body, right? From that guidance, you disown it, and you have disowned the wisdom and the knowledge that it carries for you. But to really step out of judgment, you have to allow yourself to not judge that either. Don't judge the judgment. Have compassion towards yourself, right? And so taking care of yourself physically and emotionally in practice is an art. It's not just a luxury that you pile on top of all the things that you need to do because you have a fear that, you don't know what's going to happen if you stop doing them, right? And this is a distortion of what's actually going to raise your vibration. So anything you do for the sake of doing will actually create obstacles in your path. So if you care for yourself, your ability to access your spiritual guidance, it will actually lead you towards inspired action, which always raises your vibration and draws to you your desired outcome. And so what you want to think about is you always want someone around you that's joyful. Think about when you're around someone who's in a good mood, playful, and always joyful. And to know that their joy doesn't depend on how you are feeling. Wouldn't it be easier to depend on that person? Don't you have a greater sense of confidence in that person? Don't you feel just a little more secure in their care because they are so much in command of themselves? Don't you tend to go to that person for advice and just enjoy being in their presence, even if you're just sitting in silence? Right? So how do we access the body and how do we become that joyful person, regardless of whatever anyone around you is behaving like, right? Well, you can meditate and try to create spaciousness. And I've said this before, but there are many different kinds of meditation, and not all forms of meditation are right for all individuals. And it's my belief that individuals that have attachment wounds tend to need a little more holding and structure when stepping into the world of meditation. The silence can be overwhelming. It can be deafening. It can be filled with anxiety and worry and limiting beliefs. And sometimes it's kind of like when you say to someone, oh, you should meditate, it'll get you in touch with yourself. It's almost like they're asking you to cross this treacherous deep cavern across a tight rope with absolutely no safety net, right? And so for today, what I'd like to do is offer my rituals for getting in touch with the body, and allowing the body to take over and express itself in such a way that it's gentle, that it is meditative, but it doesn't feel like you're sort of cast out into your boat without a set of oars. And hopefully you find it fun and creative. So I am going to sort of use the chakra system as a jumping off point for this exercise. And that is, what I'd like to do is ground you into your root chakra. So your root chakra is an energy vortex, and it's primarily located in the genital region, pelvic region. Okay. It's associated with basic survival, basic security needs. Okay. And its element is earth. So what I'd like you to do, I would like you to find a comfortable spot. I'm going to take you on just a brief guided visualization using my singing bowl, and then we are going to do a very basic and simple art exercise to process the experience. So now, first thing I should have you do, you're going to take a piece of paper, just a blank piece of paper, and I want you to slip it under your feet. Okay, you can wear your shoes if you want to. I recommend that you don't, but if you are not in a place where you can take them off, you can keep your shoes on. So you're just going to put that paper under your feet, and I'm going to do this exercise with you. Okay, and so once you've got that paper in place, I'd like you just to sit back, relax into a comfortable position, and I'm going to take you on a little guided journey. Okay, so just take a deep breath, turning your attention inward, just noticing that inner space, attending to the contact between your feet and the floor, allowing your body to sink a little more heavily into your seat, noticing the contact of the chair, the way it supports you. Witnessing the most subtle sensation you may be having, and then the most prominent sensation you may be having. And wherever your thoughts, worries, concerns may be tied up outside of this present moment, like ribbons, I'd like you to slip it out of those entanglements and call those tendrils home. Just allowing them to become concentrated in your body. And for the purposes of today's meditation, I'd like you to see that energy become more densely concentrated into a seed. And whatever kind of seed that is, it will unfold and reveal itself to you. Just witness and receive it. And then, like a stone through water, I'd like you to watch that seed glide down the length of your body. Down through your neck, through your heart space, your rib cage. Down through your upper abdomen, your lower abdomen, past your navel. Through your hips, all the way down into that root chakra in the genital region. And as I mentioned before, the element of the root is earth. And so just for a moment, I'd like you to witness the nature of your earth, of your inner ground. If it is dry or nourished, perhaps it is sandy, or maybe it's soil. Is it like a frozen tundra? Or a warm marshland? Is it rocky? Is it smooth? Do things grow in your ground? Just for a moment, breathe in your inner landscape. What does your ground look like? And if it's hard to envision it, let your imagination take over. What would it look like? What does it feel like in your body? And now I would like you to invite that seed of your energy to take root in your ground. Quite literally, I'd like you to see the roots extend from this seed and reach into your earth, searching for nourishment. And similarly, I'd like you to witness the nature of your roots. Are they thick or are they thin? Are they strong or are they fragile? Do they extend across or do they reach all the way down? How do they feel? Are they yearning, stretching? Are they more satisfied and it's just a gentle reaching? What is the nature of your roots? And now I'd like you, with your next inhalation, to imagine drawing nourishment up from the earth, through the soles of your feet, up past your ankles, your calves, your knees, your thighs, and allow that nourishment to spill into your root chakra. This liquid nourishment you are drawing up from the earth. And on the exhalation, imagine pouring it on that seed. As many times as you need to, drawing it up from the earth and pouring it on that seed. And I am going to play the bowl for about a minute. And I'd like you to continue this process for as long as you need. And so I'd like you to just take a snapshot of whatever you may have witnessed in your mind, to breathe it in, almost as if it is a fragrance, letting it sink in through the breath into your lungs, into your bloodstream. Allow it to pump to the rhythm of your heart to every extremity, from your fingertips to your toes, all the way to your crown, even to the tip of your nose. Letting it sink into your muscle fibers, your cells, your bones, letting it become body knowledge. And just know and accept that through synchronicities in the environment, through your own imagination, dreams, intuition, emotional responses, the deeper wisdom of what you have witnessed will rise to your conscious awareness to enrich your experience, and also to inform, if applicable, what you may need to do. And so I am going to ring the bowl 3 times. And after the 3rd time, we can open our eyes and release this practice. And so I encourage you now to bring yourself back into the present moment. Maybe stretch a little if you have to. And allow your eyes to drift open. And before you move too much, this is the first part of how we're going to process our experience. So I would like you now to trace your feet on the page, right? Remember that paper beneath your feet right now? I'd like you to trace your feet onto the page. And I'm going to do it too. All right. Okay. So you can use anything you have, a pen, a pencil, a marker. I'm using oil pastels. So I traced my feet. I got the top part of my feet on the page. And so then what I'd like you to do is to draw your roots, however you witnessed your roots inside your ground. Okay, because basically what we did was we metaphorically grounded your energy into your body so that you can start to have a relationship with it. And we nourished it. We made connection with source, with all that is, with the universe. And we established a connection with that aspect of yourself. And so whatever your roots may have looked like, there is no right or wrong here. I'd like you just to make a quick representation of that on the page to help concretize this experience for you, and also to help you to realize that this is a real connection that you are establishing. And the more that you allow your body to speak about it, you allow your hand to move, to create strokes, to feel that connection in the way that you are interacting with the page, with the images and the symbols that came through for you. That is going to help you connect with the body. And that is ultimately what's going to help you establish that sense of trust and that sense of safety in the body and confidence in your own feelings and instincts again. Okay. So here I have an example of my roots. They're a little bit wispy, I suppose. They're coming from the center, the soles of my feet. Okay. And so from here, you could dialogue with your piece. You could ask if there's anything that your roots need. You could draw it. You could add it to the drawing. But what I like to do is I like to take it a step further, and I like to give my drawing a voice. I like to give my body a voice. So I'm going to step away from heady interpretation, and I'm actually going to turn things over to my drum. And so I'm going to drum the way I think my roots would drum for now. And so I just try to get my ego mind out of the way and just let my hand and the sound communicate with each other. It's almost as if my body has its own consciousness, and I'm just letting it, I'm giving it space to talk to you, to me too. was just like a little hello. So it doesn't have to sound like anything. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just you're allowing yourself to explore different avenues of bodily expression. You're giving your body a language that it naturally speaks. Okay. So a few questions to leave you with. If you would like to explore this even further in your journaling or maybe with free writing, is to come up with 3 I am statements. So, and to finish them as if you are your drawing. So I might say, I am energetic. I am sprouting from the center. I am a little messy. And then you could just allow yourself to free write on that and to explore what associations you have. Now, if you enjoyed our activity today, I do encourage you to stay tuned to the feed because I'm going to be doing 3 more videos like this, and we're going to be looking at dreams, intuition, and sacred ritual. Also, just to remind you, we do have a 5 days to ignite your love light challenge coming up at the end of this month. And so there is a link to sign up for our 5-day challenge, which will include 5 live streams, emails with assignments sent straight to you, as well as access to a special presentation and soul journey with the wonderful shaman and health coach, Kristen Boyer, on day 5. And if you do join us on day 5, I'm going to be giving you some offers to expand your learning if you decide that you like this way of practicing. Additionally, I had seen some questions on the feed about how to learn more about what programs I offer. And if you are interested in that, you can check that out on my website, which is briannamacwilliam.com or creativeartstherapiesonline.com, right? This is the name of our page, okay? So thank you so much for joining me tonight. And if you did create an image of your roots, I'd love to see it in the feed below and to hear what came up for you in your meditations. I always love to see and hear how people are receiving these things. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I look forward to our next live stream. Going to be 2 more live streams next week.